Should I clap? We both clap. Welcome back again. Today, a beautiful announcement on the Brave Pod. The 14th of February
Yeah,
is
14th.
a Sunday. It is 2021, and you are invited to join a little taster of what Brave Space is, a Valentine's edition dedicated to the bravery that you are required to have in your pocket when you're trying to commit to a relationship, stay in a relationship, thrive in any type of form of relationship. And today we'll be sharing with you, Fran, also why we created this taster and what's in it for you if you sign up.
Yeah. Yeah, when you and I started talking about like what's a really great way to get others a little bit of a feel of like what we've been working on over the past 5 months, we were thinking about our own bravest moments, because we do believe that that if we want to create a shared human experience, our stories must relate to everybody else too in many ways. And relationship was a very important one for both of us. Like we both had to very much lean into a new level of commitment and bravery when we decided to commit to our partners. And the beautiful work it took to get to where we are today. And so I think that was number one. And then number two was that we also felt there was never a more important time to talk about relationships because of what COVID gave us, right? Like at home all the time together. Like I had a lot of friends, including me, going through a lot of like ups and downs in my relationship and their relationship because of the intensity that COVID meant for them and for us. So this is our source of inspiration and leading with our bravery as we're starting this.
Yeah. I think as a community, as a species, maybe even right now, we're dealing with the disappointment of not being able to be spontaneous in how we maintain our relationships. So some of relationships, for instance, if you have a partner, if you're living with somebody, then first of all, you're suddenly in a completely different flow. But if I look at my friendships, my relatives, the fact that we cannot maintain our relationships the way we are used to is such a disappointment almost that, okay, we're dealing with it because there's no other option. But it almost reminded me of the disappointment of picking up the phone to call the girl that I like, or the stress involved with whether she has responded to my text within 3 days or not. All these beginning moments of getting to know somebody, and that's putting it on the other side. If I reflected on myself, I myself have sometimes to look myself in the mirror and really calm down the fears that might be running up in my head about being abandoned, or don't get used to this love because it's not going to be there forever, and all these I know the source of them. They might have been incidents in my childhood, and even with that consciousness, even with that awareness, it doesn't mean that it fades away. I need to be able to recognize it, notice it, and then encourage myself to not listen to those fears. And I feel like pretty excited that the first taster that we're doing for Brave Space for people is around the relationships. We were talking about it. Should we be facilitating startup founders and partners, because those are also relationship. But here
Mm-hmm.
talking about a very simple thing, creating families and life. And you might have a big fat bank account, but in the end, this is something that MasterCard cannot deal with it. It's the, yeah, it's the biggest thing in people's lives, and it's such a great example of yeah, being human and dealing with your fears. And I'm super curious about who is going to gravitate to this event, and
Mm-hmm.
what the reason is why they also connect courage and bravery with relationships, embarking
And
on
love.
or,
Yeah.
or staying in them and thriving in them. I really appreciate that our open attitude to developing Brave Space took us here, and
Yeah.
it's funny because Ted, who you also will meet at the event, uh,
Mm-hmm.
came up with the idea for the Valentine's
Addition.
edition. Yeah, and you told me that he actually also never expected himself to be in a relationship or have the kids and like settle down. So it's I have no words for it. I think it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I think so too. Um it feels scary and authentic at the same time, right? To be opening yourself up that way. Um and yeah, I think especially for I think one common theme that you and I had, and that we've also seen in a few other things that we hosted a few weeks ago, is that there's, especially among like very ambitious people, it's very hard for them to like find the kind of like partnership where there's a mutual understanding of growth for like personal growth, and then synergetic growth for to like towards each other and with each other. Um, and I think that will be also super interesting to explore it in a way of just sort of like, what does it mean to show up with vulnerability in a, you know, whether it's an ambitious relationship or not, doesn't really matter. But, um, and like, what does vulnerability do to thriving in a relationship? How much does it open up, like being who you are, and you know, feeling the presence of someone else in the same way, accepting love the way you may have not seen it before, right? Like I think you made a great point like last week when we talked about is so much about love is also accepting that, you know, your partner, your family, your friends love in a different way than you do, and that it's not better or worse, you know, it's just is. And how do we sit in that? How do we ground ourselves in the very different forms of love? And how do we come together with that? And where do we like, how important is a growth mindset? That's something that I like think about a lot. How important is a growth mindset to a thriving relationship, right? There's so many relationships where like a fixed mindset just causes people to just like continuously clash, because you're not finding the sort of like ways together to sort of like say like, so this path is not working, the way we're thinking about right now is not working, let's see what else could be working, right? And doing it all over again, not just like in moments of like dispute or something like that, but even during COVID, I'm realizing with Ted, my husband, and three small children at home, it's like how many times we're sitting there and we're just like, okay, what do we need to do differently next week? Because this is not working. Like we're going crazy. This lockdown is, you know, turning us into like, I wouldn't say monsters, but close to that. You know, it's just sort of like we're just like running like crazy chickens and trying to like get everything done and work and spend time with the children and be like mindful with each other as partners and cleaning the house. And, you know, there's like so many things going on. And so to sort of like, how do you not make that about yourself and your relationship, but attribute it to the circumstances, and in fact come together in that moment and be like, okay, the one thing that we cannot control is the outside right now. What we can control is how we're continuing to commit to each other in our relationship.
Thank
And
you.
yeah.
Beautiful. For anybody who's listening, I can say I am a child of divorce. My parents have been together 2 years in total. They had a beautiful honeymoon in Iran. They went to prison as soon as they got married. So things that you hope to learn and things that you need in what you were describing, to be able to have a good conflict and realize that that is healthy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Be able to be creative. All these things in a relationship require bravery and detachment from all the fears that you might be experiencing that might result in you getting hurt emotionally in some type of way in that relationship.
Mhm.
That is why what you just shared is super powerful, that you are dealing with circumstances that is stressing everybody involved, and the point is not to take it out on each other, but actually elevate each other in this situation, and saluting that effort, applauding it, celebrating it, and also realizing how much courage it takes for a group of people to get through something like this together. They always say tough experiences are bonding experiences, and the reason why is then you can shed all the layers of politeness and comfort and see what is the character of that human there, and are they willing to really open up, and are we seeing eye to eye? I think that's as difficult as it might be at sometimes, it is very bonding.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. It really is. Yeah, it's not much more to say to that. I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Super. So if you're hearing this, bring yourself, bring your friends, bring your family, join us.
Right. It's gonna be a journaling format. So we're gonna have moments of engagement with each other, and then moments of just like deep intimacy with yourself, and potentially with your partner if you're journaling with your partner together, or your friend or your family member. Yeah, we think it's going to be very nutritious for all of us. Like, we're all gonna take a lot of good stuff out of it.
Vitamin relationship. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, friend.
Thank you.
See you in the
Thank
next
you, Amor. See ya.